telling it to stand up to Iraq, while more Americans appear to be in favor of the U.S. ousting Saddam Hussein. Better check those bags. Airlines are looking to tack on some charges.
People come in wanting a big suitcase, and we try to talk them out of it.
Your suitcase is next in line. And our American achievers, people who have a real passion for golf, no matter how great the odds, will overcome. Hello, everyone. I'm Kurt Gallup, and thank you for joining us. President Bush laid it on the line Saturday, saying the U.S. is willing to take on Iraq alone if the United Nations doesn't, quote, show some backbone. The president warned that if we have to deal with the problem of Saddam Hussein, we'll deal with it. Mr. Bush spent part of the day with the Prime Minister of Italy, Silvio Berlusconi, at Camp David. Their discussion centered on Iraq. Saddam is the target, but the president had pointed words for the United Nations.
And enough is enough. The UN will either be able to function as a peacekeeping body as we head into the 21st century, or it will be irrelevant. And that's what we're about to find out.
The president said Saddam Hussein has defied United Nations resolutions 16 times over the past 10 years. Support for removing Saddam Hussein appears to be on the increase. A recent Newsweek poll found that 75% of those surveyed favor using an international force to remove Hussein from power. 55% favor sending U.S. ground troops to do the job. That's up from 50% just last month. Well, the Justice Department says that law enforcement has identified and disrupted an al-Qaeda-trained terrorist cell here in the U.S. 5 American men, all in their 20s, all of Yemeni descent, were charged Saturday with supporting foreign terrorist organizations. They were arrested Friday night in suburban Buffalo, New York. One man admitted to the FBI that they attended an al-Qaeda training camp in Afghanistan a little over a year ago and that Osama bin Laden visited the camp. The Muslim American community alerted the FBI to the men's suspicious behavior. The president says, quote, "We're hunting them down one at a time." That was his reaction to word that one of the primary organizers of the September 11 attacks was captured in Pakistan. Ramzi bin al-Shibh allegedly worked closely with a cell in Germany where he was a roommate of hijacker Mohammed Atta. Pakistani forces and American CIA operatives conducted a joint raid in Karachi on September 11th, netting bin al-Shibh and 11 others. 2 other suspects were killed in the shootout. The U.S. says bin al-Shibh provided financial support to the hijackers after being denied a U.S. visa. Hospital workers would be the first beneficiaries of a national smallpox vaccination. That's according to a Bush administration plan in the final stages of development. It calls for starting the vaccinations with those at the greatest risk of exposure to the highly contagious disease. That means hospital workers would be first, then police, firefighters, and on to physicians in private practice in the later stages. Routine smallpox vaccinations ended in 1971. Experts fear terrorists could acquire old smallpox samples for bioterror attacks. The Centers for Disease Control now reports 64 people have died from West Nile virus, including 10 recent deaths, mostly in Michigan and Illinois. Over 1,400 people are infected in 30 states, from the East Coast to California. Health officials expect the numbers to continue to rise as more deaths are investigated. Well, when you travel, how full do you pack your bags? The next time you check a big, heavy bag at the airport, your trip could be more expensive. Airlines are more strictly enforcing rules about the size and weight of luggage. Mike Johnson has more on what it means to you.
Stuffing a suitcase too full could cost you the next time you take a flight. The airlines have always had rules about the weight and size of checked luggage, but experts say now those rules are being enforced more often. Airline analyst Terry Tripler says that's one of the changes designed to help improve the bottom line.
The airlines are looking for every possible way to increase revenue, whether it be baggage charges, cutting back on meals, no waivers. In other words, if this is a non-refundable ticket, it's non-refundable.
So if you haul a big suitcase, airlines may question it even if they haven't before.
What I'm afraid of is there are people out there who don't realize they may have a bag that's too big.
On domestic flights, the airlines generally charge $80 if your bag is over 70 pounds or if it's too big. The fees are higher for overseas flights, and you could be hit for both charges on the same bag. So how do you know if it's too big? Terry Tripler says get out your tape measure and check it yourself.
When measuring the bag, we measure the height, the width, and the length. In this particular bag, we looked at this one is 27 inches wide. We look at the height, which would be from the floor up. That happens to be 18 inches. And the width of the bag is 9 inches.
That's a total of 54 inches. This bag would be allowed without an extra fee. Here's how your bag should measure up. Check the height, the width, and the length. Add those numbers together, and if it's 62 inches or less, you should be okay.
People come in wanting a big suitcase, and we try to talk them out of it.
Julie Weens of Luggage and Leather in Minnetonka, Minnesota, says there are some big cases on the market, like this one that measures 69 inches. That's 7 over the limit at most airlines.
Whoa, that is a big one.
So she recommends smaller sizes to her customers, especially after one family returned a suitcase after being charged a fee at the airport.
And they didn't want to continually go on trips and get charged $75 in addition to their tickets.
The airlines charge the fees because they say big bags take up space and use extra jet fuel. And Terry Tripler offers this advice.
Take twice as much money and half as much clothes as you're planning, and you'll have a great trip.
Mike Johnson, All News Channel.
If you have soft-sided luggage, make sure to measure it after you've packed. When it's full, the sides can bulge, adding 2 to 4 inches to the size. Also, make sure to check with your airline about their individual rules and charges. Airlines in the U.S. and abroad began checking their new Boeing 737s on Saturday for potentially defective flight control equipment. The FAA has issued an emergency order concerning hydraulic control modules. A 737 has 2, and if they would both fail, the plane would be very difficult to control, like a car with bad power steering. Most of the 93 aircraft involved are in service, but Boeing doesn't disclose which airlines have its planes. Hannah has weakened into a tropical depression, but it's still causing problems along the Gulf Coast. That is our top weather story for this half hour. 4 inches of rain has already drenched the Florida Panhandle and southern Alabama. Winds gusted up to 50 miles per hour on Saturday, knocking out power in some areas, but some tourists in Panama City Beach say Hannah won't ruin their vacation.
We did want to go swimming, but I'm a little hesitant about getting out there in the water right now.
I've never been in a storm like this. It's kind of neat.
A missing swimmer is presumed to have drowned in the rough surf. The storm is spreading tropical moisture as far north as the Carolinas. In Texas, there's an APB out for a tractor. Plus, a ship that's largely gone was the inspiration for this creation. We'll take you on board.
Across America in 30 minutes, you're watching All News Channel.
These binoculars let you see a distant bird up close. But how well can you hear it? Now get sonic hearing with Sonic Ears. It's like having binoculars for your ears. Imagine being able to hear sounds that other people can't, or listening to a joke clear across the room. Sonic Ears is so small, it's the size of a pager, and it clips conveniently to your belt. The button-type headphones fit comfortably in your ears, like a personal stereo. No one ever needs to know that you have sonic hearing. Now you can sit in the balcony and hear like you're in the front row orchestra. Take part in seminars and lectures without missing a word. Join in any conversation, even if you're in another room. And keep track of children as they wander off to play. Sonic Ears picks up and amplifies sounds up to 30 yards away. You can watch TV without turning up the volume, and even watch in bed without disturbing others. Your Sonic Ears amplify sounds up to 50 decibels. And there's even a volume control, so you can set just the level you want. With Sonic Ears, you might even hear a few things that may surprise you.
Wait till Dad sees the new fishing reel I just got him for his birthday.
You'll hear things you've never heard before when you start to experience the world with Sonic Hearing. And here's the best part. You'd expect to pay $40, even $50. But Sonic Ears is yours for only $19.95. If it doesn't give you the most dynamic hearing you've ever enjoyed, return it for a complete refund. Now you can hear distant sounds you never thought possible. Don't wait to experience Sonic Hearing. Have your credit card ready and order your Sonic Ears now.
To order your Sonic Ears, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-996-1400 or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to Sonic Ears, 6960 Eastgate Boulevard, Lebanon, Tennessee. But for quicker service, call 1-800-996-1400.
to all who work at a community garden in Austin, Texas, is missing. And police are sure that Earlene, the earth mover, didn't roll off on her own. Robert Hadlock has the story.
She's dependable. She helps me get my work done in a timely way. Earth Mama Earlene, I have to say right now she's one of my best friends.
Now this compost manager's best friend is missing from her home at Sustainable Foods Sunshine Community Gardens.
This is where she lives. Yeah, lived.
I was in shock. I just couldn't believe that somebody would come out to a community garden, you know, and just load up a tractor and the mower and walk off.
But that's what workers and the police suspect happened to Earlene, the nickname for this $20,000 Kubota tractor this weekend.
With the tractor, it makes it very easy. We just go over to the piles of leaves and the piles of mulch, take a scoop, put it on.
It's food for plants.
Another one bites the dust.
And without the free compost Earlene helps create, the gardens here and across town, as well as hundreds of limited income and master gardeners, have a growing problem.
No, it wouldn't work. It'd be too expensive.
While Earth Mama Earlene is on vacation, we will be doing this all by hand.
Hoping all the while that someone can help them find the best friend their jobs, the community, and this garden rely on.
I just have no idea what they're going to do with it and why they would want to take it from us.
This is Robert Hadlock reporting.
On Saturday, it was time to get on your mark, set, skate. Over 4,000 people strapped on the inline skates for the largest inline marathon in the country. The 7th annual event ran along the north shore of Lake Superior in northern Minnesota. The distance is a standard marathon, 26.2 miles from Two Harbors to Duluth. Well, during the Second World War, the United States Navy used Fletcher-class destroyers, many of which are now long gone. But in Lewiston, Minnesota, one destroyer survives. And Jason Davis takes us to visit the USS Melvin.
It's an odd sight, what appears to be a Navy destroyer moving along with nothing but grass and trees in the background. It's a 24-foot-long, 600-pound scale model of a Second World War ship called the USS Melvin, built with pride by 44-year-old welder Dwayne Stark.
It represents our country and everything else of what we're made of, and it's just one of them things where it better look good.
Dwayne is putting the finishing touches to his ship after more than 2 years of work. He started with a plastic model that was only 3 feet long.
Took every measurement off of it, multiplied it times 8, and this is what it came out to be. I made it as a hobby, and I never thought it'd get this big. Not in my wildest dreams.
Dwayne's remarkably precise model of the USS Melvin has working engines, rudder, lights, and guns. When he launches it later this summer, everything will operate by radio control. Dwayne's sympathy for the Navy is surprising. He's an Army man, served for 7 years.
Have you ever seen Navy ships? You must have done sometime, no? You never seen a real one?
Never saw a real one.
Dwayne's model has created quite a stir. He's been invited to just about every parade in the area, and old Navy men who served on Fletcher-class destroyers come by just to look and remember.
I brought him over to this, and you could just start to see, brought back a lot of memories. And you know, there for a while, it was the ship itself. Then you look at it and you say, it's the people that were on board. That's what counts. Piece of metal, big deal. It's the people that really hit you right here.
Dwayne Stark's next model will be even bigger. He says he's going to build an aircraft carrier 3 times this size. He says he'll need a semi to pull it. From Lewiston, Minnesota, this is Jason Davis reporting.
Well, the baby boom generation is getting older, and it appears advertisers are beginning to pay attention. Senior consumer power is a growing commodity. We'll explain in Smarter Living.